to...
Thank you for coming in to participate in this workshop today on conflict management. Conflict is primarily a struggle or conflict between people that have opposing ideas, beliefs, values or goals. Conflict may arise in the workplace due to new initiatives, technology or interpretation of awards, agreement conditions or managerial decisions. If these conflicts are not managed correctly, further problems can arise. Conflict management is the practice of recognising and dealing with disputes in a rational, balanced and effective way through good communication skills, problem-solving abilities and strong negotiating skills. There are two types of conflict, one being overt, where the issue is obvious, such as strike action or stop work meetings. This type of conflict is costly to the organisation and valuable work hours are lost. The other type of conflict is covert, where the actions are not obvious and costs are hard to gauge. Some examples of covert conflict is absenteeism, high turnover of staff and reduced productivity. Conflict is hard to avoid when you have a mixture of personalities all working together, but the important thing to understand is not all conflict is bad, and there are some very positive factors that can come out of conflict.
When you say conflict is not always bad, what would be an example of that?
Two people in the same company may be competing for one job, and in doing so, although they are in complete conflict with each other's interests, they are working hard to achieve the same position, and as a result, their performance is raised and new ideas are born out of productivity. Through conflict comes the opportunity to negotiate and brainstorm, and sometimes better ideas and systems can be arrived at due to the initial problem through better team cohesion and emotional intelligence. There are five different types of conflict responses, and they are competitive, collaborative, compromising, accommodating and avoiding. Competitive. This is where someone pursues their own interests in the workplace at another person's expense. The only aim in this type of conflict is to win at all costs. Compromising. This is where the main aim is to find middle ground for the conflicting parties to agree on and address the problem more directly. Collaborative. This is where employees strive to find a common goal that is suitable to all parties and looking deeper to isolate what each party is looking to achieve. Collaborating might mean exploring a disagreement to gain some benefit from the other's ideas. Accommodating. This is where one party is willing to give up their views to satisfy the other party. Essentially, this can be a self-sacrificing method when giving into another party's point of view. Avoiding. This is where one party doesn't pursue what they wish to achieve for themselves or the other party. This can be reflected in behaviours like withdrawing completely from any conflict, postponing a discussion over an issue, or diplomatically sidestepping an issue. An example of conflict in the workplace would be when someone is doing a particular task and is criticised by another work colleague who suggests doing it a different way. It may be that the person doesn't fully understand the system and thus feels they can do it better, or it may be that the other person doesn't realise that the task actually can be done better. Either way, you'll have a conflicting issue that needs to be resolved.
How would you resolve that problem, as clearly there would be two strong personalities involved that both think their way is better?
In a situation like this one, it would be important to bring both parties in for a meeting and get them to express their thoughts and ideas and clarify why their way is the best way. After listening to both parties and maintaining a neutral opinion on the argument, the first thing to do would be to look for a middle ground where both parties would have input in improving how the task is currently being done. It is important that both parties are assured that their arguments are valuable and viable. it may be that both parties have strong points that could be used in a collaborative way, or it may be that one party has a more viable suggestion of how to do the task, and in that case, clear communication and the reasons for the resolution need to be expressed so that both parties have an understanding of how the resolution was arrived at to avoid further conflict arising in the future. It is very important that when you are dealing with conflict, effective communication skills are paramount and include such things as actively listening, questioning, use of appropriate language, fair interactions, listening and responding with empathy, providing positive and constructive feedback involving the other person. This can be summed up by the Clearview method. C. Concentrate on the listener. L. Listen with the goal of understanding. E. Eliminate judgmental attitudes. A. Actively listen. R. Respect differences. V. Value input offered by others. I. Messages describing someone's behaviour and its effect on you. E. Encourage participation from others. W. Work towards agreement. What are your thoughts on this method? Do you feel adopting these things would assist in conflict management?
I feel that sometimes it is very easy for employees to feel overwhelmed by a situation in the workplace. However, they do not always feel that they will get a good hearing if they take it to a line manager or senior manager. If employees were fully informed that this method is being adopted in the workplace, I think that they would be more prone to bringing issues to the attention of management for resolution, rather than trying to sidestep them or engage with another person in a non-proactive manner.
Agreed. When dealing with conflict, it is important to follow these steps. All conflict should be dealt with promptly in order to reduce any stress that is being experienced by the involved parties. By dealing with issues immediately, this should lead to a quicker resolution and will avoid further escalation of the problem. 1. It is important that you remain accessible so that employees are comfortable in approaching you. 2. Grievances and conflict should be dealt with in a non-threatening and informal manner. 3. Policies and procedures should be applied consistently. 4. Admission of errors when behaviour has been inappropriate and act quickly to remedy the issue. 5. Find the solution and fully explain it. 6. Always remain neutral and unbiased. 7. No emotion should be displayed and the emotions of the concerned parties should be managed. 8. Develop problem-solving skills. 9. Do not assign blame or cultivate a blame culture. 10. Identify the cause of the conflict and source a strategy that will genuinely resolve the conflict. So, what do you feel has been the biggest source of conflict in the Council in recent months?
Since the redundancy program was launched, we were all aware that there was a vast amount of knowledge that went with the previous staff members of both work systems and the organisation as a whole. Since many of the remaining staff have only had 2 years or less experience, this has created a lot of angst, high absenteeism and turnover issues and a general don't care feeling across the board. This has led to frustration and stress due to limited knowledge and skills.
Yes, agreed, Grant. What do you consider would be the best resolution to these issues?
It is patently obvious that training in certain areas is required, such as customer service and general knowledge of the Council.
Yes, agreed. And that is exactly what we are doing right now. Setting up training courses to increase the knowledge and skills of the workers to improve on not only performance, but also self-esteem and relieving stress and angst for our employees.
By undertaking this workshop, we are getting a better idea of how these issues could have been managed before they became bigger than they needed to be. And it is great to know that management have recognised that there is a problem and are looking to solve the problem in the best way possible for all concerned.
Thank you, Scott. In terms of negotiation, people bring their own styles to the situation. The 5 different styles we will look at now are self-denying. These people may be difficult to negotiate with as they are introverted and reticent in providing information, especially feedback. Feelings and ideas are hidden from others. Self-protecting. These people use diversionary tactics, such as discussing other people or sidetracking to other issues. Diversionary tactics are used to hide true feelings and ideas. Self-exposing. These people wish to be the centre of attention. This attention can be demanded by speaking loudly, speaking over others, using attention-seeking body movements, ignoring feedback and the views of others. Self-bargaining. These people will show you their feelings and ideas if you do first. These people wait until you lead them into negotiation. They can open up and negotiate when others initiate the process. Self-actualising. These people are the ideal negotiators as they want to receive information and feedback from the other person. This information and feedback is presented constructively to aid the negotiation process and to achieve goals and results that are effective without any conflict. Successful negotiators are able to collaborate with another party or parties so that they can reach an agreement to the mutual benefit of both. They are empathetic and can see each person's point of view in relation to the situation. To negotiate successfully, it is important to put yourself in the other person's shoes and communicate clearly that you understand their needs. Through the use of updated written policies and procedures, the information that needs to be accessed by employees is readily available and will hopefully contribute to assisting in the elimination of further conflict. Thank you for participating in today's workshop, and I look forward to being able to bring you more as we go forward in our training program initiative.